Hello. Hello, everyone. Today I am going to be chatting with Debbie Solaris. Excited to chat with her again. I last talked to her live. I think it was back in May. Let's find her. So we're going to be talking all about the Akashic Records and also the cruise that's coming up with Portal to a. Hello from Thailand. Hi.
Hi there. That was quick and
Hello.
easy.
I know. Sometimes it's like delay, delay.
Yeah, I know. Let me brighten up this light. It's like it's dark in this room.
We're
Um,
on both sides. I thought you were 10 hours behind me, but I think
uh,
you're 12, so we're both in the
12,
evening.
yeah, that's the difference between the United States and Thailand, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Soaking
I'm
up the
glad we were
last
able
few
to.
days.
Yeah, yeah. So I take it you're returning to Canada soon, or yeah,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. I was trying to be in the present moment as much as possible just after my retreat and really soaking up all these light codes and
hmm
everything from Thailand. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. I'm just kind of hunkering down at home for the next couple of months. I got some projects that I'm working on, obviously, as well as getting ready for the cruise, so that's coming up.
So
And
excited about that.
yeah, yeah, me too. That's last year's was great, so this year is going to be even more spectacular, so.
Yeah, it was probably one of the best journeys I've ever been on. Like I've never been a cruise person before. I don't know if you have been, but
No,
it
I never
was,
been on any. Yeah, that was my
yeah.
first one too.
And it was
Yeah.
magical. Like every day we were waking up, we were in a new space, and it was all
hmm
with Starseed family. And we
Yeah.
went through the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, that was really awesome. Yeah, I can't wait for this one because it's going to be even longer period. So we're not just doing a week, we're doing 10 days, and then we're going to be visiting all these magical islands in the Mediterranean, the Greek islands, and even I think there's
Yeah.
one port in Turkey, which is Ephesus, which is what I heard is an amazing city. I mean, a lot of history at that city. So no, I think it's going to be amazing, for sure.
I'm I'm really excited. What are you going to be chatting about? What's your workshop?
I'm actually going to be going deep with my workshop at the cruise. We're going to be talking about, at least I'm going to be talking about the extraterrestrial influences of ancient Greece and Turkey. That there was, so it's called, the gods in the sky. So who are these gods really? Why is this these pervasive archetypes are in our history and in our mythology, and what did they really represent? Who were these beings, and how did they influence ancient civilizations? So I have a personal, interest in all of that because as a kid, I really loved Greek and Roman mythology. I thought it was really interesting, and I always wondered why I liked it so much. And so, I hope to share some of those insights with folks on the cruise. How
That's
about
really
yourself?
cool.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm going to be doing a guided journey, a light language activation to connect everybody with their past lives, connect them with their guides, and to really bring through knowledge and keys and gifts to help experience ancient Greece and Turkey while we're in Greece and Turkey.
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah,
amazing. Yeah.
I'm really
Because I'm
excited about
sure,
that.
yeah, so I'm sure a lot of us that are going to be going on this cruise, there's a reason why we're guided to it because we probably had past lives in this, part of the world. And so there's things about being on the cruise or going to these locations that we're going to be reintegrating into this current lifetime. I know I had a past life in Greece. So there I did, because I do Akashic Records readings regularly, I also am able to access my own records, and I saw a past life in Greece. I was a man in that life, though. I wasn't a cute female. I was a
What?
burly, like a Spartan warrior. I don't know. It was a very interesting lifetime.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you got some
so.
knowledge and codes from that lifetime, brought them
Oh, I'm
here.
sure. Yeah, I'm sure. It probably helped me when I was in the military. So a lot of people don't know this, but I'm actually a Navy veteran. I was in the military for 6 years, and so I served, and I think it gave me a certain level of toughness. When I tell people that I went through boot camp and I did all the same thing the guys did, and I don't consider myself, particularly athletic or anything, but I think it's more of the mental toughness, that gets you through, hard lifetimes or, hard experiences in even this lifetime,
Hmm.
So,
And
but
that's
yeah, I
quite a
think,
transition too from
oh,
that
yeah.
and then to now. Yeah. That was
Yeah,
an
no,
awakening.
yeah, no, I mean, it's like a completely different kind of lifestyle, being in the military. And actually, it's interesting that you're in Thailand because one of the exercises I did when I was in the Navy was I spent a month doing a military exercise in Thailand. And
Did you?
it
Whereabouts?
was
Was
pretty
it
much
northern?
all over.
Northern?
We started off in Bangkok, and then we went to Chiang Mai and Phuket and Pattaya Beach and Karat, which was
Wow.
really interesting. So we went all throughout the whole country. I mean, it was just we were spend like a few days in one location and move to the next, and it was interesting. I got to see both sides of Thailand. There's this very highly spiritual side, and then there's a very hedonistic kind of side, which that's the best way I could describe it without, getting too specific. But
Yeah, it's interesting because I just did my retreat down in Koh Phangan.
yeah,
And there's parts of the island that are very spiritual, and then there's other
hmm
parts that are maybe not so spiritual, but it's like those magical places that just feel like they're untouched, Like I,
yeah.
I don't know. You must have, I mean, you've saw, like you said, you saw like both sides, but
Both
there's
sides, yeah.
there's
But I was in the
something,
military too,
yeah.
so I was hanging out with a bunch of men, and I
Hmm.
had to go where the men went. So I saw some things I probably didn't really want to see, but so maybe I had a different kind of experience. But I also actually really loved the Buddhist temples and just and just mainly the graciousness of the Thai people. I mean,
Hmm.
they were all very kind. I felt like I was very well treated by the locals, that I just felt a lot of love and, just acceptance, which I think a lot of that has to do with their Buddhist beliefs.
Yeah.
And they're actually quite, this is a memory I just popped up, but what I really liked was even when you were bartering with them, when you're at the markets, trying to buy silk or, certain things, they were always very honest,
Hmm.
like if they owed you money, they would run down the street and give you the money, which I thought that was really unique. I never
Yeah.
encountered that in any other Asian country, so that was really good.
Yeah. I mean, I came here originally, well, not this trip was for the
Mm,
retreat, but when I was
yeah.
here a while ago, I came for 2 weeks thinking I was going to be on vacation for 2 weeks. I ended up staying for like a year and a half because
Oh, wow.
I just loved it so much. It felt like home.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
and it
Yeah.
was Chiang Mai.
Yeah.
And
Chiang
yeah,
Mai is
there's,
really pretty. It's a pretty city.
yeah.
I really like that city too. Bangkok was kind of like It was
Big.
overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah, fake. Yeah, it's very overwhelming. I didn't care for Bangkok, although we did stay in a very nice hotel, while we were there. But I didn't care for the energy that much. But some of the other locations were really pretty awesome. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
well, enjoy
It's
your last few days there.
Thank you. Yeah, I've kind of been offline a bit because I've just been literally just trying to soak it all up.
Yeah,
But yeah, so for anybody that hasn't been to Thailand, I highly encourage it.
I highly encourage it too. Yeah, yeah. I think everybody needs to go to Thailand at least once in their lifetime. And we have
Mm,
somebody here saying that Chiang Mai is amazing. Yeah, absolutely right. I don't know,
yeah.
Varesh, I think. Varesh, I'm not sure how you pronounce their name, but yeah, it is amazing. I would say that's a definite must see if you do go to Thailand.
It was a
Beside the,
big it was a big piece in my awakening journey. There's just
okay,
so many there's just it's kind of like Chiang Mai, anyways, is like almost like an eighth dimensional vortex, like a healing hub. And anybody that came to visit me, they were just upgrading and so many things were happening, but they people don't necessarily know because it's all just part of the land and it's part of like just all of it's just you just have to be here and you'll
yeah.
just awaken. It's just really wonderful. Yeah, there's like the light codes hit you differently here compared to North America.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Hmm.
definitely. Somebody's saying to Varesh is saying to try the Philippines. I've never been to the Philippines myself, but always wanted to go. Uh, that and Singapore. I mean, even though Singapore is a totally different vibe, but always wanted to see it. So one of these days we'll have to do it like an Asia tour. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. We'll do the next cruise somewhere we'll like
Yeah,
pop
next cruise
around.
will be Asia. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm curious, Kirsty, are you Andromedan? Is that your background, your galactic background? And the reason why I'm asking that is because you're very drawn to these Asian locations, and there's a lot of Andromedan influence in a lot of these Asian countries. So
Hmm.
I think probably back, in ancient times, there was probably Andromedan outposts in some of these locations. So I'm just curious if you have an Andromedan
I
part of your,
do. I
yeah.
do. Yes. Yeah. And it's funny for those that are clairvoyant, sometimes people see me as like different versions of like
Hmm.
sometimes they'll see like a Lyran or
Hmm.
um Arcturian or something.
Hmm.
But yeah, Andromedan definitely. Arcturian has been coming up quite a bit,
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
particularly, yeah, and Lyran.
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah,
it's
Andromedan, that's really neat. I didn't know that specifically. That's
yeah,
cool.
that's something that when you're doing a bunch of Akashic readings for different people around the world, you start seeing certain patterns with people, and I see a lot of connections between Southeast Asia and Andromeda. Also,
Mm.
Andromeda and the United Kingdom, which is really interesting because that's like all the way on the other side of the planet. But
Hmm.
but those
Hmm.
two locations seem to have a lot of Andromedan influence. So if somebody's drawn to those locations, it also often makes me think like, okay, maybe there's
Hmm.
some sort of
Yeah.
uh, I don't know, just some sort of past life connection or galactic connection to those locations.
Yeah, someone just wrote, I'm from Andromeda Galaxy and drawn to the Philippines. I'm from
Mm,
India. Yeah, so
yeah.
that resonates with me too. I've had a previous life in India. I'm very
Oh,
drawn.
interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
I haven't been there yet, but looking forward to going there.
Yeah, that would be
Um,
another amazing trip. Would be India. It'd be again like a study in contrast, kind of like Thailand, But
hmm Yeah.
yeah, that would be really super interesting.
What are you
Um,
seeing? Like, I find that there's like certain moments people are clearing certain things. Like Mintaka was coming up quite a bit for me.
yeah,
Like
gotcha.
just for
Yeah.
readings in general with people, Mintaka was coming up quite a bit.
Mm.
But what are you like? What have you been seeing recently? I know you do like thousands of them, but. Is there something new? Is there something new that's been popping up that you're like, oh, that's cool?
I'm just seeing a lot of people doing a lot of clearing work, like massive clearing. And what's interesting is even the astrological alignments seem to be pushing us towards doing that. I'm not an astrologer by any means, but because I have an interest in astrology, I just kind of follow the transits and see if it correlates with, just trends I'm seeing. And there right now, Jupiter is retrograde in Cancer, which means a lot of deep diving, a lot of emotional clearing, which is interesting because I am seeing an uptick in Akashic clearing appointments, just with my practice, that a lot of people seem to be more interested in the clearings and even doing, just the basic readings that, I usually do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do see a lot of that. Yeah, Mitaka is another one of those locations Mitaka is one of the belt stars in the Orion constellation. So I do see like a lot of people connecting with Mitaka, particularly right now. That and the other one, I still think Lyra, a lot of Lyran processing. And also to a certain extent some Syrian,
Mm-hmm.
particularly Sirius B. I see a lot of people processing through Sirius B incarnations, so I would say there's a whole lot of stuff going on right now, but
Yeah,
um,
this year in general has been huge for clearing.
it is,
Huge for
yeah,
clearing. Yeah. Did
yeah,
you
it's
find
kind of
that you, oh, did you find that you went through like, I feel like many people might be able to relate for this one because
mhm,
it's like
mhm,
you awaken, you go through
mhm,
stuff, and then you do like all this purging and clearing from the different lineages and then going
mhm,
through and like clearing a lot. Um,
mhm,
and like making sure that so I'm seeing this more in like I'm seeing this actually with my work with their healing, but
mhm,
clearing timelines like actually I was talking to Debbie Dashinger about this just
mhm.
about clearing timelines of dis-ease and
Mm.
ailments that will never come to be that have something correlated to do with, different lifetimes and past lifetimes and seeing it like that in the body in particular.
Oh,
That stuff. Yeah. So there's been like it's been interesting.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
off-worldly beings, like all
Yeah,
associated with that. Yeah.
yeah. I did notice that I saw just a short video reel of you and Debbie talking about cancer, and
Hmm.
as a cancer survivor myself, I can attest that most of the healing work I did, because I chose not to use allopathic methods for the most part. I did use mostly alternative healing, and knock on wood, my cancer's been in remission now for 8 years, so so I'm very grateful for that. But a lot of it was emotional work. A lot of it was processing through a lot of anger. I do think particularly cancer is based in anger. And I like what you said also about the parasites. I do think there's some parasitic, because we just get bombarded with toxicity in our environment just everywhere we go,
Yeah.
So I just wanted to comment that I did watch that and I really liked what you said. I mean, and I relate to a lot of it because I felt like I was clearing out lifetimes of, just anger and disappointment and depression and, all kinds of stuff, that the cancer has given me the opportunity to work with. So
Mhm.
sometimes, getting like a debilitating illness like that can almost be a blessing, because it forces you to do the inner work, which otherwise you wouldn't feel like you would need to do that, So,
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah,
uh,
it gives you like for me specifically, I
mhm,
I went through and was clearing some big things that were
Mm-hmm.
there and dissolving them. And I did that obviously to clear them, but also to learn specifically about them.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then it gives you, I think it just gives you like just the tools that we have now to heal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there's so many different ways, but the alternative ways, like even like Akashic record reading, sound healing, like
Yeah.
doing one session, it unlocks so much, like the words
Oh,
that you speak,
absolutely.
they're codes. Um, and it's kind of like people like it's like then that stuff will never come to be. Like you kind of
Mm-hmm.
clear out that out. So it gives you like a really good perspective of seeing things from the whole, because I find kind of at least in the Western culture, like you kind of don't really see the whole until maybe it's too late. Do you know what I mean? Like for some people anyways.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
I would
yeah.
say for majority of people,
Hmm.
uh, I think what allopathic medicine is very symptom based, so, they're basically looking at symptoms and they're looking at the body, more specialized as opposed to having this more holistic approach, where I honestly think, the really deep healing comes from the more holistic approach,
Hmm.
so I'm hoping that, our medicine, model, here at least in the Western medicine will change to incorporate more, holistic methods because if let's say if you, go through radiation and chemo to heal your cancer, but you're not healing your anger issues or, your guilt issues or whatever it is that caused the cancer, it's just going to keep reoccurring. And I've seen it in a lot of my family members. For some reason, cancer is prevalent in my family. So I've seen, a lot of them keep getting the cancer over and over again, or, so there's certain things, components. And then detoxing is obviously really important, because we are, bringing in a lot of toxins from the environment. So when I was recovering from cancer, I did a lot of detoxing. It was a lot. I
Did you
mean, it
kind of
was.
learn more about the like obviously you knew some of it when you were doing it, but then you learned a lot at like you just started doing research and learning more about it. Like how did that come up for you?
Yeah. Um, Both my husband and I, when I was diagnosed with cancer, we we knew we didn't want to go the allopathic model because I knew it was very toxic. Just putting chemicals in your body. It doesn't just wipe out the bad cells; it wipes out everything.
Mhm.
Wipes out your whole immune system. So both he and I did a lot of research. On different methods, more natural or more naturopathic methods. And so it was kind of like we just kind of tried different things, And I also did a lot of Reiki and energy healing during that time, and I did a lot of theta healing. Yeah, so and I took supplements. I mean, I did essential oils. I mean, I did pretty much the whole gamut. I even did juicing for a while, so I did the whole thing. It was just kind of like we just kept throwing stuff, and seeing what stuck, but
Yeah, I mean,
um,
there's so much there because it's they call it alternative, but it's ancient and it's been around for like
I
so
know it's like
long. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, the reason why it's been around because it works, I mean, we just, big pharma has convinced, a lot of us that, oh yeah, that's not valid. You need to take some sort of, chemical concoction in order to heal
Whereas
yourself. And it's
nature's
just,
remedy is right there.
yeah,
Oh
it's
my
always
gosh.
there. Yeah.
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 Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I could go on about that for forever for like there's
yeah.
just so much and it's just having the awareness that there's there's lots of alternative ways, which is really really wonderful to hear that story too. Yeah, I'm
Oh,
just looking
yeah.
at the chat here.
Yeah, it looks like some people are making some nice comments. Oh, that's very sweet. Oh, wow. S5 made a comment that they're connected with Sirius, but they know they're from Andromeda. They spent 15 days in Chiang Mai. Looks like a lot of us are connected to Chiang Mai. And they love both of us. That's sweet.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, and then Varesh says he's from Andromeda Galaxy, which Andromeda Galaxy is amazing. I mean, it's almost like Andromeda energy, like amplified by 100%, you know? I mean, it's just, it's like all the best things about Andromeda, but just really, really amplified, you know? And the thing with Andromeda Galaxy souls is that, they also have the independence that the Andromeda constellation souls have, but it's like they're even beyond, you know, just being rebellious. It's just like they just kind of do their own thing. You know, they just don't. Um, it's not even like they're trying to prove something, you know, by being independent or off the grid or whatever. They just do it because they're just following their own path, you know. So,
Mm.
so I love to work with Andromeda Galaxy souls because they instantly get it. Like if, I don't even have to explain things to them. They just get it. Even on an energetic level, you know, it's like and they usually incorporate things really quickly. So these are being people or star seeds that are very much master manifestors, you know. So usually once they
Mm.
put their mind to something, they can create it, you know. So they oftentimes do. And so I just love to work with them. I even love to work with the Mintonkan souls, just because, despite you know all the trauma and the conflicts they went through, they still hold that love frequency. You know, they hold a lot of love. You know, and the love consciousness, the Christ consciousness. So I enjoy working with those beings as well.
Yeah, for those
And
that don't know, like their planet got completely destroyed.
yeah.
Very traumatic, very devastating.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of trauma healing in that particular area for
Yeah.
Mintalkers.
Um, so I don't know if you want to talk about the cruise, you know, what we're going to be doing,
I
you
have
know.
a few, I have a few questions.
Okay.
But with the cruise, we could chat about the cruise. Maybe I'll ask a couple questions, and then if you guys have
Okay,
any
let's do that.
questions, and then we'll pop back over to the
Let's
cruise.
talk about I'll answer your questions and then we'll talk about the
Okay.
cruise and you know, so you can sign up under either me or Kirsty, so whoever you want to give the credit to, it doesn't really matter. I think it's all good, but you can,
Yeah.
but also, I think they're running a special price until December, my understanding is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's a better price until December. And then I mean, yeah, I have an offer if people are interested in my work, go check out my website, kirstylauren.com. And I mean, it's just going to be incredible. It was again, it was one of I've traveled a lot and I've been to a lot of places, and this was one of
mhm.
the most incredible experiences that I've had being on the Mystery School at Sea cruise, the first one, and that was the
Yeah,
Mayan Riviera. And
yeah,
you become like a family by the end, like well at the beginning and then through it and then the end and then just experiencing all the places together. It's really magical.
yeah, it is. You know, if you have the time or the means to join us, it's definitely worth the time and money investment because you will get so much out of it. I mean, it's transformational, honestly. You know, these Portal to Ascension does a great job, and so does Divine Travels. You know, yeah, so these are both you know the groups that put these on, and I'm just grateful to be a part of it. You know, I'm just like
Me
happy
too.
they invited me back. You know, so um,
Yeah.
yeah, but
I'm really
I
grateful to
want to
be
answer your question,
it's
so
a
let
lot
me
of
get
fun.
into that mode. Yeah.
Um, so how is the Akashic Records accessible to everyone?
It's accessible because it's part of our consciousness. So a lot of people think a lot of these locations or this information is outside of us, and it really isn't. You know, we all have a crown chakra. We all have, you know, a chakra 8 and 9, even beyond chakra 7, that connects us to the higher realms. It's just that here on planet Earth, a lot of us have forgotten, you know, our psychic abilities or our abilities to connect with these higher realms. And so once you are able to incorporate, you know, more of these clairsentient gifts, you know, or clair gifts, overall, all the clair gifts, but you're able to connect. And then all of us can get downloads, you know, so all of us have access. And that even includes the galactic records. So it's not like, you know, I have a special passcode and nobody else does, you know, to access that information. And I think there's a certain level of being attuned, you know, to be able to access that information where I think in past decades, you know, a lot of Akashic readers just dealt with earth records, because that's what they were attuned to. You know, that's what they, you know, they had a frame of reference for. But now that, you know, our consciousness is expanding, we're starting to have a greater understanding that we're part of a greater galactic family. Now other these other levels of the records are also available to us. And I do offer a Galactic Akashic reading course once a year. We just finished 2025 cohort. Very happy students. I mean, everybody was getting access. Every single one of my students was getting access to the Galactic records, and you know, so I know it works. You know, I know that, you know, it doesn't matter, you know, what your background is, or, you know, whether you've done this kind of work before or not. Looks like a lot of people are sharing. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Yes.
that it was amazing. Yeah, that's I remember when you were doing that. Yeah, that's cool. So you guys will have to wait till next year.
Yeah, next year. Yeah, it's going to be even better next year. So yeah, so it just keeps getting better and better each year. Michelle says that she just completed GARC. I know Michelle. I met her on the cruise. She's an amazing lady. Yeah,
Yeah.
hey Michelle.
Hi.
Love to you to the UK. Yeah, she said it was a good course. Yeah, it is. It is a good course. And it just keeps getting better. You know, so blessings to everybody that attend or are interested in attending. It is worth, you know, the investment for sure. Next question.
Yeah.
I'm ready for the
Yeah.
next one.
All right.
Yeah.
Um, I think this one was kind of answered a little bit. Where are you most seeing the star seeds from? So, and then I said for me, there's a lot of people connecting with the Arcturian lineage as well as
Yeah.
Syrian. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, I would say, and it depends on generations too. So
Mm,
Dolores Cannon talks about the 3 waves of volunteers, which that book was life changing for me. I just put all the puzzle pieces together, like, oh, okay, this makes total sense. And so I would say people of my generation, because I'm quite a bit older than you, but people of my generation, so the boomer generation that were the star seeds, a lot of us were connected to Lyra and the Sirius and the Pleiades. And then I would say, you know, second waivers, you know, those are people that were born like in the 70s and 80s. We do see a little bit more trickling in of the Arcturian lineage and the Andromedan. Still a lot of Pleiadians and, you know, everything else, but more of a representation from Arcturus and Andromeda. And the Gen Zers, you know, those are the third wave volunteers. Those people, we're seeing a lot of Andromedans. Like I would say, like mass influx of Andromedan souls, more with the third waivers than even the previous 2 generations. And I think it's because Andromedan souls, they're frequency masters, and they're also very technologically adept, which, you know, we do have to incorporate a certain level of technology to create the new world, so these are souls that came from civilizations that were very technologically advanced, and so they're going to be bringing in amazing inventions and technology in the coming decades. But so I am seeing kind of this trend. Orion souls, they're kind of represented just throughout all three generations. And there's a lot of Orion souls here. I mean, I think sometimes a lot of people don't want to represent themselves as an Orion soul, but just because you're from Orion doesn't mean that you're a negative Orion type. There was a lot of positive beings that also came from, Orion. And it's really interesting, just to see this interplay. We do see a lot of negative Orion souls, unfortunately, in the entertainment industry. I was doing a series where I was doing these celebrity readings. It was something my marketing company wanted me to do, and I didn't really want to do it because I'm not into celebrities. But I was like, okay, I'm paying you guys, to give me some advice, trying to. And it was interesting because I did notice a lot of them connected with Orion, which was really, really interesting. That they're kind of part of the establishment even here, on this planet, So
I have an interesting theory with that.
yeah. Oh, I want to
It's
hear that. Yeah, please.
yeah, okay. So, well, when we did the Starseed conference together, when that was in
Hmm.
San Diego, so
Yeah.
I was in LA. I was in Chiang Mai and I went straight to LA. So that was obviously a very different point A to point B.
Yeah.
And specifically, I noticed that there were lots of those beings. Um, I noticed because they're service to self, right?
Yeah, very much
So
so.
very much. I mean, you know what?
Mhm.
They're all on their healing journey too, and they're on their path.
Yeah, yeah, you just gotta love them. You gotta love them where
Yeah.
they're at.
And I feel like it's kind of like that, like not like a breeding, it's like that's where there can be a lot of service to self energy, like, narcissism kind of in that sort of capacity. So I feel like when, and this is my opinion and kind of just based off of what I've seen,
Hmm.
um, the more you go down with the ego
Hmm.
and the service, say there's service to self, and say you don't check that, and you go into something in that capacity, in the limelight per se,
Hmm.
there's decisions that are made, and you can make good ones and maybe not so good ones. And the more I feel like you
Absolutely.
go down that not so good path, then
Hmm.
they become more infiltrated. That's
Oh,
my experience. Because
absolutely.
you can see when someone started in that business, you can
Oh,
see
yeah. Yeah, they
their
have more of an
eyes.
innocent energy, or
Yeah.
more like, they're excited because, they're getting all this attention, and, their talents are being showcased, and then
Hmm. And
and
then
then
you
they
see
got to
them
pay
a
a
little bit
price.
later
Yeah,
and
and
they're different.
they're different. Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're even manufacturing these beings, like through cloning, or through, I don't know, or maybe through plastic surgery. I don't know. I mean,
Oh
it seems like a lot of them go through like a lot of
there's
changes,
there's
once they
def
get really famous. Yeah.
there's definitely some interesting stuff. And I think, I mean, I could chat about this all day long, but I think
Yeah, I know, me too.
the keys are just the awareness to think
Mm.
something is a little off and
Hmm.
maybe look at that. Because basically, that whole industry is smoke and mirrors, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And it's actually crumbling. I mean,
Hmm.
I was just
Yeah.
watching a video yesterday that was saying that, a lot of these movies that are creating in Hollywood right now are they're not doing well at the box office. People don't want to watch them anymore. People don't want to spend the time to watch movies that, they're not well written. They got, the same old actors and actresses, playing all these parts, and people are looking for more authenticity,
That's what
and
it's lacking. It's lacking
yeah,
the
exactly.
authenticity.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
they want, they want stories that are inspiring. They, a lot of the stories that are created in Hollywood are really dark, dark themes, dark energy, and people don't want to put up with that anymore. They want, things that are, entertaining, but yet, you know, um, inspiring and helpful, and adds to our frequency, doesn't take away from it. So I do see that industry crumbling, and it's going to change
Hmm.
dramatically. I actually think it's going to get replaced. It's going to get replaced by probably smaller studios that are going to be using, just different types of methods to create interesting stories. And I do think part of it too is people are more streaming, so they would prefer to stay at home and just stream, their entertainment rather than, going to an actual theater and watching it too. So,
Yeah.
but
I mean, the
anyway,
biggest thing that I'm getting, like even while I'm in Thailand, just after, post retreat here,
hmm
and I've been getting this message quite a bit, and I'm sharing it quite a bit actually, is the best
yeah,
thing over these next, like even the next couple of years, the most
yeah,
important thing we can do is be present and be in
hmm
presence and be outside and be in nature and to try to get off, being
off the
watching.
grid.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
just not even connecting with anything that's being manufactured by this matrix that we're in. It's um,
yeah. Because like
so
it's amazing how much nature, like being outside in nature and grounding in nature, like that heals so much. And there's
mhm.
disconnect, like people just aren't knowing how to ground and do that because there's something that's taking the energy unknowingly, right? Like when you're
Yeah,
kind of
gotcha.
glued into scrolling or something like that.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, it is interesting to be the observer and to just like have your popcorn in the background and just kind of waiting to see what happens. Because it is changing quite a bit.
it is dramatically changing. Somebody's asking me what's my favorite crystals. Honestly, I like all of them. I mean, I like them all for different reasons, but if I had to pick favorites, I would say Nirvana quartz. That's one that a lot of people don't know about.
I don't
It's
think
a
I know.
fairly new crystal. Yeah. It looks like Himalayan salt, like a big chunk of Himalayan, because it has a kind of a pinkish tinge to it. But it's super high vibrational, but it's also a very calming energy. Like it's not like
Mm.
moldavite where it's kind of jarring if you're wearing moldavite for the first time. Nirvana quartz is very high vibrational, but it's very steady. It's a steady energy. So even people that aren't used to working with crystals can work with it really well. So I love Nirvana quartz. I mean, of course, there's lapis lazuli and just aquamarine and just all the really pretty crystals. Rose quartz. So I hope that answers your question, whoever asked that. So, I would
Yeah,
rather connect with my spirit and galactic guides than watch TV. Absolutely. I'm right there with you, Jonathan. I
yeah.
am right there with you. I do not I don't even watch any of the shows. My husband watches, like, he likes the talent shows, like The Voice and America's Got Talent, which sometimes I'll watch those with him, just to kind of keep him company. But even those are really heavily programmed. I mean, they're
Hmm.
not real. They're
I
not
have a
real.
post on that about programming on like the subliminal stuff that
Oh
will
yeah,
someday
yeah.
be posted. Um, yeah, so it is, I mean, I realized too, like I stopped watching it. I used to watch TV quite a bit and then, on my
I think we
awakening,
all did.
yeah, and then I stopped and then I
Yeah.
kind of went and I was like, oh, I'll just watch the show. And I felt
Mm.
like I was like I needed to keep, like it was like the binge watching. And I was like, I
Oh
didn't even
yeah. Oh
need to
yeah.
watch the show and now I feel like I need to keep going.
Well, there's a lot of subliminal programming in those
Yeah.
shows, so I wouldn't be surprised if the reason why people are binge watching a lot of them is because
But it's
they're
just,
being told to. Yeah.
yeah, and it's to take notice and take stock of where your energy is going, basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
And a lot of those shows can be really entertaining. I mean, they got,
Hmm.
some, really entertaining shows. I mean, that, they got beautiful cinematography, that they're in so, a lot of times you just want to watch it because it's so beautiful.
Oh
But
yeah, like what is
yeah,
that Netflix Ancient Apocalypse? I love that. I
yeah, yeah.
loved it. So good. Um, so what what was the most surprising thing you've learned so far with your work?
That's a good question. Let me think about that one for a minute. I would say mainly that just how connected we all are. Like I think we when we come to this planet, we're under this guise that or this that that we're all so different. And honestly, I would say from doing this type of work, I'm just seeing all these patterns and correlations and how we're all just interconnected, like we're all part of the same soul group. There's not much difference between somebody that's an Arcturian starseed as opposed to a Pleiadian starseed or a Lyran starseed or an Andromedan starseed, because we all came from the same place. We all came in through Andromeda Galaxy. So that was really surprising to me because
Mm.
initially when I started this work, I was thinking, oh, Andromeda Galaxy, that just sounds, so different and far away. But pretty much all of us came, as souls, we came from the same place. We just chose to have this experience here in this galaxy, for various reasons. But
In
yeah,
this
that's
moment.
in this moment. Yeah, exactly. So I think that was the most surprising thing to me was that, they're really, I think it's human nature to want to put people into boxes like, okay, you're an Aries sun sign or you're a Pleiadian star seed or you're this or that, but actually we're an integration of all of it, you know.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you're tapping into, from different places for different knowledge, for different keys, for different codes. That's why I
Yeah.
said, like, some people see me and I look Lyran, like they
Mhm.
see a Lyran being, and sometimes
Mhm.
another time they'll see an Arcturian being.
Mhm.
Um, if you're clairvoyant, let me know if you see what being is here. Um,
Like
so
which starseed mask is she wearing today? Yeah,
yeah, that's
so
always fun.
yeah.
Okay, so this one is so walk-in souls. Tell me your experience with Akashic Record readings with walk-in souls, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are the most fascinating readings, actually, the walk-in soul ones. And I don't get as many of them as people would think. Like, I would say to be a true walk-in, that's a very rare occurrence,
Hi.
um, where there's, just one soul that kind of takes over from another soul. Now, there's a lot of walk-in experiences where you might simultaneously be sharing a soul with another soul just to have an experience, and then you step out when you've learned a lesson or you've either that or you assisted that soul for that period. There's different types of walk-ins. So the most fascinating one I had, and this was like from several years ago, was she was a female client and she didn't remember anything from her, I would say from teenage years on. Like she didn't remember her life. And so we did a reading, and it was because her soul had a contract. Her original soul was actually from Earth, decided to step out, and then there was a being from another universe that decided to step in. And so now her viewpoint was just totally from this perspective of being an observer, like she was experiencing planet Earth for like the very first time. It was
Mm,
kind of like everything was really, really new for her. And at that point, obviously I knew that, yeah, this is a very unique situation, because, um, oftentimes you don't see this, where somebody totally forgets, what their life was from a certain age on. Most of the time, when I see walk-in, situations, with certain clients, usually they can remember, so they integrate some of the previous soul memories, but then they they felt like they've changed, and usually what happens is the earth soul will leave, or the soul that leaves is usually a less evolved soul, and then the soul that takes over is usually an advanced soul. And more often than not, other than this experience that I was talking about where the soul came from another universe, it's usually an Arcturian or an Andromedan soul that takes over, so we're seeing these these beings that are stepping in because they want to have an earth experience for whatever reason. So that's
hmm
what I see mostly with walk-ins. But then there's walk-in experiences where I think a lot of us are integrating alternate dimensional lifetimes. And so some people may feel like, oh, I know I was a Nazi in Nazi Germany, um, but I don't really feel connected with that. But I know I had that past life memory. That's likely an alternate reality,
mm.
where they're just experiencing that temporarily. Yeah, I could talk about walk-in souls all day, so I'll stop
Yeah,
at this
so
point.
that was my so I'm a walk-in soul. That was my
Yeah,
experience, was it was a transition that happened. I didn't know for a while.
yeah,
I did lose, like, there were some memories I had, and then there was like kind of a gap that
yeah,
for a little bit I just didn't have, and then I just thought I was upgrading and then it came
yeah,
back.
yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
But but yeah, so I have this thing like, if I hear about something three times, then okay, then it's like three different ways. And it came to me in three different ways.
Mm.
There was a post that I wrote about that, because
Hmm.
I write informative posts, and one was about that, and I kind of looked at it and I was like, huh.
Hmm.
Literally before I posted it, someone messaged me and asked if I had experience with clients being walk-in souls. And then there was a third way that it came, like all in the matter of 2 days. And then I was like, okay, I have a question now. So
Yeah, gotcha.
I learned more about it that way, but I learned like a lot of, like, basically, yeah, what you were saying, it was an advanced, more advanced soul. Usually they have really big missions.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Yeah.
what I do know about walk-in souls, though, is if they can come and leave. So if someone had a breakdown in a marriage or loss of a job or something very
Hmm.
traumatic, they'll come in for like a certain period of
Yeah, it's
time. And
usually a traumatic event, like a big accident, or they go through like an
mhm.
NDE type of experience or
And then
some
it'll
sort of.
stabilize, they'll stabilize, and
Yeah,
then they'll
yeah,
go.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but it's happening more, from in my
Yeah.
experience.
No,
It's happening more and more.
no, I would say it's more common now than it was even a decade ago, where, when we're starting to get used to this idea of star seeds and, alternate timelines and stuff like that. But,
Yeah, I said in my, I had a post, I wrote a post on it, but the example that I was given was Eckhart Tolle.
yeah,
Or
yeah,
Tolle, Eckhart
totally.
Tolle.
Yeah, I think, yeah,
His name was different, and
yeah,
he had the experience where just, he was so happy to be in this human form. He stayed on like a park bench for like 2 years, just so excited and gratitude. And then
yeah,
his name didn't resonate with him, and then he changed his name, and then he is who he is. But that's the
yeah.
experience that I know.
Yeah, and
Um,
he's done quite well. His work has impacted a lot of people out there. A lot. Like,
yeah,
what a great reach. That just
yeah,
because you shifted into your true alignment. And that's and I think that's where we're all moving towards. That we're all moving towards shifting into who we truly are, what we really came here to do. That I would say that's the second thing I'm seeing is with a lot of my clients is that they want to be more aligned with why they're here, what
Hmm.
their true soul mission is. That's probably the question I get the most, other than what star lineage am I or where did I come from? It's usually what is my soul mission? What am I supposed to be doing? And I think the reason for this is because we are going to this very monumental period in history, where we're shifting dimensions. This has never happened, for thousands and thousands of years on this planet. So, we're shifting from third to fifth, and a lot of people are feeling like, this is the apex lifetime, where I have to really get on my mission in this lifetime. This might be my last life on Earth, or I might be closing out my planetary contracts. So people are getting that kind of sense of urgency more so than maybe even in past decades. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, and really doing like a big clearing out. Like that's just especially what I've noticed too. Like we have big missions here, and then we need to
yeah.
clear out all the junk in order to.
Yeah, I got to clear out all the junk before you can get aligned with your mission. And it's a
Hmm.
journey. It doesn't happen like just in one or two sessions. It's like sometimes takes years. I know it did for me. It took years to process through all that, which I was thankful for. At first I was upset about it, or just like, what the heck. Like, and I still make jokes with memes about having to go through all these lessons, just some of the memes on my Instagram. But I'm just very, very grateful, honestly,
Hmm.
for all of it. Yeah, it looks like everybody's making some great comments. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Thanks,
awesome.
guys. Oh yeah, so yeah, there was a question about more about the cruise, but firstly, besides the cruise,
Yeah.
what are your upcoming projects that you have? I know you're doing Oracle Fest in January, which I'm doing as well. That's a really
Yeah.
exciting project, but what else have you got going on?
Yeah, I got a lot going on. I feel like I'm always playing this juggling act with gotta do this, gotta do that. I don't know. I think when you get to that point, it's just you just kind of learn to go with the flow. But so I'm doing the Pleiadian and Arcturian conference with Portal to Ascension in January. So that's going to be, I think, upcoming. Oh yeah, then this month, just next week, I'm doing the Scorpio Moon event with Diana Divine.
Ooh,
Yeah, so I'm doing that. So we're
lovely.
gonna get deep with that one because it's Scorpio Moon and it's the shadow work. So I'm kind of excited about that one because it's kind of a different topic.
That'll be
So I'm
good.
doing that next, and then I'm doing, Pleiadian and Arcturian. I was supposed to go to Mexico with Tim Tactics next month, but he canceled. He had to cancel that. I think there was some issues with the venue. So, and actually Mexico, I don't know if it's safe. I keep hearing stuff that it's not safe to travel there. I don't know, but my
I
husband and
was
I have been to Mexico lots of times, never had any issues, but
it's heavier energy. That's kind
yeah,
of
I
my
think so
impression of
too.
it.
Yeah, I think that's probably why it got canceled. But
Hmm.
and then of course there's the Mystery School at Sea, and there's Conscious Life, so and the
Yeah.
Oracle Fest. We're doing Oracle Fest together. So yeah, a lot in the works here. So um,
Yeah. Yeah. And also doing all the clearing and all the shadow work and all that stuff too. Busy times.
yeah, busy, busy times. Yeah. So, oh, my
Yeah.
cousin's on here. Hi, Katya. My cousin from Italy is on here. Hi, Katya.
Oh,
Yeah,
good
so
one.
we're sending
Okay.
love to Katya. Speaking of cancer, she's recovering from cancer, so we need to send her lots of love and healing.
Yeah. Sending you lots
Yeah,
of love.
yeah,
Thanks for being here. Thanks guys for being
yeah.
here. I mean that was pretty much it. You guys had there's so much typing here.
I
It's hard to
know, I
keep up.
know. It's like everybody's making such wonderful comments. I'm just
Hmm.
like, it's it. it's kind of sad that you don't get to read the comments after the video is over, because I like to go back and like catch all the comments, you
I
know.
know.
So,
Thanks, guys, for
but yeah,
being here. Yeah,
yeah.
okay. Next couple, if there's any more questions. I was going to share something from the cruise from last from last year, which is pretty funny. I don't know if I shared this with you.
Okay.
Okay. So we were coming back because the start of the cruise was in Florida, and then we were coming back to Florida through the
Mm-hmm.
Bermuda Triangle both times. And
Yeah.
when we were coming back through the Bermuda Triangle on the second, like on the way, gosh, I think we were just due to land in Florida in the morning. So
Mm-hmm.
that was like our final night.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being in my room and it was like, oh gosh, 11 or 12 or something or one. And I just felt this like dinging of like, there was so much energy around me. And I was like, I could not sleep. I just felt kind of wired, like I had had cups and cups of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And and I was like, all right, I'll take a peek because it just wasn't going away. So I was like, what's happening? So I
Yeah.
took like a little remote viewing peek outside of my room
Yeah.
and I saw all these different beings. It kind of reminded me of like Star Trek being in their different suits with different heads, like different beings with different heads. And they were
Oh,
all kind of
wow.
they
Cool.
were all in lineup, but they were in a
Yeah.
different frequency. And I was like, what am I seeing? And then because we were going right through the Bermuda Triangle and I heard it's a port, like as in like it's an airport or like
Mm-hmm.
they were going to their next destination and we were just in a different frequency and we were passing right through that. And I just remember seeing like outside, like kind of in the hallway, but then out in the ocean. So obviously it wasn't in, it was just us passing through. And I just, ever since then, when I feel something like really prickly like that, I'm like, all right, what's
Mm-hmm.
happening? So yeah, I actually saw them, but it was like, it was so funny because I saw like beings like, I mean, blue avians, but then I saw beings with
Cool.
like an elephant head and like, but they were all in their
Wow.
suits
That's
going
amazing.
places. Yeah. So it was just, it was so cool. I don't know if you felt like, because that last night, did you, I think, did we do the CE5 that? No, we did it a few
No,
nights
we didn't
earlier.
because the weather wasn't good. So I think they
Mm,
canceled that, which was a shame. But
hmm. But did
yeah,
you feel anything like when you went through the Bermuda Triangle?
yeah, I felt an energy shift. I can't say that I had the level of experience that you had at the time, but I
I
think
just
because
got curious.
I just was distracted. I think with all kinds of stuff, just
Hmm.
with my husband, and I don't know, he was complaining a lot, and
It
so
was
yes,
super
but
late though. It was like,
yeah, it was
and
late. Yeah,
and the
I
only
did feel a
reason,
shift. Yeah, I
yeah,
did feel a shift. So I um, yeah, but I can't say that I saw the beings, but
I wouldn't have seen them either, but it had probably been like 2.5 hours of me trying to sleep, and I was like, all right, I'll just take a quick peek and see what's going on because I could just feel it.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
that's when I was like, oh, that's a lot. I'm just gonna close down and go back to sleep.
Yeah,
It's
there
like,
you go. Okay, okay. That's
yeah,
amazing though.
it
I'm
was so
sure they were
fun.
there. I mean, I'm sure they probably knew we were there. They were just like, hey, let's connect with our Earth family. Let's see what they're doing. What they're up to.
Yeah.
So, but I do agree with you about the Bermuda Triangle that it is kind of it's an alternate dimensional portal. Basically.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I think ships would disappear, and so there was all kinds of things going on there. But
Yeah, they're going to different ports. They're going to different places.
yeah,
Yeah, and actually, just even I don't know what like because on this side, I haven't really been feeling it much, but I'm hearing so much is going on your side, like the aurora lights and like the Schumann resonance is off the charts, and there's
yeah.
just like a lot. Like people are just making comments here about like the
Oh, the
upgrades and
Atlanteans
stuff.
in the Bermuda. I honestly think Atlantis was closer to Africa. I don't know why. I just because there was a lot of Atlantean survivors that ended up in Egypt. So I think Egypt was kind of the accumulation of survivors from Atlantis that wanted to start over. So, but yeah, that's kind of interesting though. I honestly don't think Atlantis, and this is just my opinion, so I'm not saying I'm right, but I don't think Atlantis was actually in the Bermuda Triangle. I think it was probably located closer to Spain and Northern Africa. So so
Mm.
that that's just my observation about it. Um,
Yeah, I mean, there's like the history. I mean, circling back to ancient apocalypse, when they say
yeah,
there's just so much that, I mean, obviously we know this already, but there's just so
yeah,
much that has been there, and there's just so much energy in different places, which is exciting why we're doing the Greece and
yeah.
Turkey trip.
Somebody's mentioning the aurora borealis lights. Yeah, we saw those in Colorado, which we never see those lights in Colorado, let alone the South. I mean, really, wow, that's amazing. And there's lots of people that took amazing pictures of it. I mean, I do think the frequencies are definitely changing.
Hmm.
So we are going to see some extraordinary events. Even environmentally speaking. So
Yeah.
um, so anyway,
Exciting times. Yeah.
yeah, it is. It is.
Cool. Well, that was great. That was a great little chat, a good chat.
Okay. Yeah, no, thank
Yeah.
you. I really enjoyed it too. So just one last plug for the cruise, and then we'll wrap it up.
It's
Um,
amazing. Who are the
yeah.
other speakers?
Oh gosh, we got Debbie Dashinger, we got Laura Eisenhower. She's always amazing. Vivienne Chauvet.
Flo
Uh,
Karuna.
yeah, Flo Karuna. Neil Gar. Yeah, I mean, we got. I can't even. There's like so many
I think
that
there's 20.
20 people, yeah. They usually try to do like around, they cap at 20, but we got some new speakers this time around, so not all the same people as last time. So there's some new folks. I think Nan Akasha is another one. So yeah, there's a lot of really great speakers.
Yeah.
And it's and it's kind of like we're all just part of a family. It's not
Hmm.
like there's the speakers and then everybody else kind of does their thing. It's like we're all kind of integrated. We're all eating
Yeah.
meals together. We're all hanging out. We're all going on the excursions together. So you really get to know the speakers really well. Like just all
Yeah.
all of and it's beautiful. It's a really great experience, and I'm just excited of the location. Just that ancient Greece, ancient Turkey. I know I have ancestry in those areas, so I have a personal interest, obviously, to being integrated with some of that past history, but yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
just going to be super amazing. And so the website is mysteryschoolatsea.com.
Yeah.
Check it out. Check out the dates are the March 20th through the 30th. So that's pretty easy to remember. It's
Yeah.
just, it's 10 days and hopefully you can join us, it'll be pretty freaking awesome, Um,
Yeah. It's going to be incredible. I encourage it, highly encourage it. Um,
okay. I'm
yeah.
excited. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Debbie.
Thank you for having me on, and many blessings to you and
You as
Thailand your
well.
last few days, and hopefully we'll be able to connect in British Columbia sometime because that's another one of my favorite plant
Yeah.
places on planet Earth. So
Absolutely. Yeah, well, I'll
yeah,
be there. Yeah.
yeah. All right,
Cool.
take care. Bye bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.